Hi, everybody. My name's Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahoo and the Torah channel. We're the YouTube channel. We're on Rumble. We're all over the place. You can find us on our website, Yahoo and the Torah. And you can also find us at YahScriptures.com. And we are literally everywhere. And we thank you guys very, very much for hanging out with us, for watching us, for discovering pieces and mysteries that are in Scriptures. And you're never going to discover the pieces and mysteries in Scriptures unless you're studying them, unless you're ascribed to them, unless you're looking for them. And so I wanted to go over a couple of messages, one for Brother Glenn. And Brother Glenn is our old owl here. And he sent me a message yesterday, and I always thought it's good to go through these. So this is what he says. Jason, I would like to give you my understanding of Hosea, and Yah willing, you can use some of these thoughts in your next reading. We'll use them all. First, the book of Hosea is about Yah's loving relationship with the chosen people. Hosea announces sharply that Yah's relationship with us humans includes judgment, and this relationship continues on the other side of judgment because Elohim is faithful. He teaches that to know Yahuwah, one has to transform one's entire life in faith and obedience. The prophetic messages in Hosea's book can be read individually and as a group. Particular messages should be studied individually to determine what they say and how they apply to our lives today. People have so many gods today they don't even realize. TV, sports, work, etc. Knowledge and references to Hosea's time, history, tradition, and social practices can help with his metaphors. Read together the messages made clear that the judgment proclaimed by Hosea was neither a departure from Yahuwah's history of dealing with the people, nor an end to that history, but an ongoing part of history. One can't get away from Elohim's judgment, but can ensure that one receives the judgment one desires to save one's soul. That is only possible when following Yah's Torah, and his Torah is not a burden. Now, just a few days before Yom Kippur is a perfect opportunity to get right with our Creator and start worshiping, not his creation. And then I want to go on to this last part of this. Here's some more helpful info from my archives. Hosea prophesied a dark and melancholy period in Israel's history. The period of the North Kingdom's decline and fall in the 8th century BCE. The sins of the people, their priests, and their rulers had brought upon them great national disasters. Their various sins, homicide, fornication, perjury, theft, idolatry, impiety, and others, are mentioned and criticized. An interpolated list of kings made Hosea into a contemporary of Isaiah. The book may be divided into two parts. The first containing chapters 1 through 3 and symbolically representing the idolatry of Israel under imagery borrowed from the matrimonial relation. Hosea marries a prostitute. As Yahuwah said, the people in the land have acted like prostitutes and abandoned Elohim. The figures of marriage and adultery are common in the Old Testament writings to represent the spiritual relations between Yah and the people of Israel. Here we see the apostasy of Israel and their punishment, with their future reference, forgiveness and restoration. The second part, containing 4 through 14, is a summary of Hosea's discourses filled with denunciations, threatenings, exhortations, promises, and revelations of his mercy. Now, I'm going to take us over quickly to Jeremy, cover to cover with Jeremy Pierce. And he gave us some interesting stuff on this side as well. And he says, on an interesting note, Messiah said he came for the lost tribes of the house of Israel and was going to the Romans and Greeks, and they were being born again. That in itself shows who truly belongs to Israel. Just something that poked out at me in Scriptures. Also, the missing chapter in Acts shows England was part of that as well, and Asia. Now, what I would like to talk about a little bit onto this whole thing is that what we're talking about in this entire reading that we're doing with Hosea is that we are trying to let everybody know that you guys have a family out there. There is a family that we have had for a very long time. There is a group of people, a literal nation that has been lost. This kingdom right here, the North Kingdom, the kingdom of Israel, never ever came back from their captivity. Now, we got thrown into captivity because of things such as this. In Deuteronomy 28:64, then the Lord will scatter you among all the peoples, from one end of the earth to the other, and you shall serve other gods, which neither you nor your fathers have known, wood and stone. Now, this wasn't just for a thing that was back in the day. This was talking about all of the generations, all of the people to come, how we would be stuck in this captivity. Now, this is the story that we're reading today, and we are reading it, and one of the things I would like to repeat that I heard is, and I truly believe this, is that when Paul was going to Galatia. He was going to the Ephesia. He was going to Colossia. He was going to all of these different places, and he was saving people, right? Most people think these people were straight up pagans or straight up Gentiles or people that had never, ever heard the scriptures before. But it is very, very clear that as we found out, there were 10 lost tribes. And when you read the book of Josephus, he talks about the northern 10 tribes being huge, just an enormous amount of people that you cannot count. And so when he is going into all of these little towns and he's going into all these little cities and going to all these different places and people are just converting, he was talking to the Israelites. He was talking to the northern kingdom. Now, there were probably people that had never heard of the law, statutes, and commands, or heard of Yahuwah, or heard of anything before. Those people always came. But you're talking to people that had already heard this. They had been exiled. They knew their heritage. They knew what life should be like. They knew what the Torah should. They lost all of this. And so as he is over there preaching to them and the people are being saved, a lot of these people were from the northern tribes of Yisrael. And so those are the people that we are talking about. Now, we are heading over into Hosea right here. We're going into Hosea 4 today. And this is the Scriptures of Yah. And there is a link in the bottom of this that you guys can download this. And you guys can read it for yourself. And Hosea is obviously only one book out of 66 in this one. And there's also an Apocrypha that has 37 books. That is has all of the hidden books that are very, very hard to find in one location. They're all there, and you guys can download those. Links are in the description. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Good.
You guys ready to roll?
Yep.
Is any of this making sense to you, or is any of this not making sense to you?
I think it all makes sense.
Is any of this cloudy, foggy? You guys don't see anything we can explain?
I think it's pretty easy to understand so far.
All right, so here we are. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people to figure out what their identity is. And your identity is not going to be Catholic, Mormon, Christian, whatever it is. There is no such identity. In fact, if you are looking at what the who was Abraham? Was Abraham a Jew?
He was Hebrew.
Was he a Jew?
No.
Why not?
Because that wasn't even around yet. He
wasn't. So was he, if he wasn't a Jew, how did he become a Hebrew, and what does Hebrews mean?
Hebrew is somebody who follows Yah, is somebody who obeys the commands.
Do you know what the word Hebrew means?
It means wanderer, right?
Crossing over is what it means. Hebrew means crossing over. And so the only identity that Father Abraham ever had, which wasn't a religion by any means, it was simply he was a Hebrew person. He was an Hebrew person. And so there is no, in the eyes of our Creator, there is no denomination, right? There's no Jew, there's no Gentile, there's no Catholic, there's no anything. You either hook your line, sinker into the Hebrew, and to become a Hebrew, or there's nothing else, right? When you are looking in Jeremiah 31 and you're looking at the renewed covenant, there is no house of Gentile in the book, ever. There's no house of Christian, there's no house of Mormon, there's no house of anything. There's a house of Yisrael and a house of Judah. And we have to figure out how it is that we want to identify to get into these two tribes, because those are the tribes that our Messiah comes for. And it's not, when we're talking about Gentiles, all of us are Gentiles. We all came from a Gentile base. And so what you would want to become essentially is what everyone in the scriptures became. The people from the lost tribes, they were Gentile Israelites. They all came out of Israel. They all came with the law, statutes, and commands. They were all taken to captivity where they had no rules and regulations like they used to have, but they still had their identity. All right, here we go. Chapter 4. Hear the word of Yahuwah, you children of Yisrael. For Yahuwah has a case against the inhabitants of the land. For there is no truth or kindness or knowledge or of Elohim in the land. Swearing and lying and murdering and stealing and committing adultery have increased, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Now, this is going back from Hosea's wife, then girlfriend, or the woman that he loved. Now we're simply going again, addressing the people of the land that were on that land for that time. But there's also things for all of us, because all of us are in the land right now. Swearing and lying and murdering and stealing and committing adultery have increased, and bloodshed follows bloodshed. Therefore the land mourns, and everyone living there languishes. With the beasts of the field and the birds of the Shamaim and the fish of the sea are taken away. However, let no one strive or reprove another, for your people are like those striving, with a Kohen, right? What he's talking about right here is like everybody does what is good in their own eyes. Nobody tries to be better. Nobody tries to put stuff to the laws. It's like striving with a priest. And you shall stumble in the day, and the Nabai shall also stumble with you in the night. And I shall make your mother perish. My people perished for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. I reject you from being Kohen for me. Since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim, I also forget your children.
So basically, they got beat here because they didn't follow the Torah and didn't just stop there. He also cursed their children because of their iniquities.
Yeah, and why did they do that? Why did he do this?
Because they all kept sinning.
Yeah, he says, you've forgotten the Torah of your Elohim. Now, if we take it 3,000 years later, because we're talking about, what was this? This was about 700 years, was this about? Before Messiah came, somewhere around rough remain. So we're talking about 2,700 years, somewhere rough, más o menos, from where we're at right now. So is this a world where we have accepted knowledge? Do we have we not forgotten the Torah of our Elohim? What does the world look like compared to that world?
I feel like the world today knows less of the Torah than it did back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think a lot of people don't even know what the word Torah is. They don't never even know what the laws in the Torah are if they ever heard the word Torah.
Yeah, they don't know. And so it says clearly, my people have perished for lack of knowledge. And then he continues on, because you have rejected knowledge. So what is knowledge being equated to in this verse right here?
Torah.
Torah. Yeah, absolutely. So this is what we are told increases knowledge, is the Torah. And so where's the Torah found, Eli?
In the first 5 books of the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy.
Absolutely. And so if we want to be different than the people of Hosea's time, then we have to be somebody who doesn't reject knowledge. We have to be somebody who has not forgotten the Torah of our Elohim. And we have to explain this to our kids and to our family and to continue on to bring this back. And this is what coming out of captivity means. It means that we are sitting here talking about this, that we're trying to get our kids into this, that we're trying to raise up the Torah in a time when it's extremely Torahless in this world. The Torah, nobody cares about the will of Yah. Not a single person out there. You can look in the world. You just simply look out in the world, look out your window, and you can see that the world has forgotten the Torah of our Creator. Verse 7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. My esteem they have changed into shame. They eat the sin of my people and lift up their desire to their wickedness. And it shall be like people, like Kohen. And I shall punish them in their ways and reward them for their deeds. And they shall eat, but not be satisfied. They shall whore, but not increase, for they have stopped obeying Yahuwah. Okay, right? Here we are again, 2,500, 2,700 years later. Are we better than this? Do we obey Yahuwah? Does the world obey
I
Yahuwah?
think
The world
we're in
does.
a worse state than what they were back then, because nobody knows Yahuwah.
Yeah, nobody knows Yahuwah, and there's back in 2014 there were 41,000 confirmed different religions. In 2009 there were 38,000. So between 2009 and 2014, we're talking thousands of new denominations that are simply different than what Scripture says. Every single one of these denominations they're going astray. And when you have a compass, you have two different norths. You have a true north and you have a regular north. Now you can be going north as all of these different denominations think they're going north. But if you're looking at going thousands of miles and you're not going true north, but you're just going north, you may not be hitting the mark that you think that you're hitting for sure. Okay, 11. Whoring and wine and new wine enslave the heart. My people ask from their wood, and their staff declares to them. For a spirit of whorings has led them astray, and they went whoring from under their Elohim. Right? So this is the people that are taking objects of wood and they're like, hey, bless us, objects of wood. Or they put the objects down there and they have something that they think is a god and they start worshiping it.
It's even crazier that they made these and like, I built this, now it's going to rule over me.
Yeah, and that you hear that in the stories of Paul about the idol makers that were all upset with Paul. You hear about idol makers all throughout scriptures. These people, they made a living making idols for their mighty ones. And then when somebody came and tell them these guys are just wood and stone, that really upsets people. Okay, 13. They slaughter on their mountaintops and burn incense on the hills, under oak and poplars and terebinth, because its shade is good. Therefore your daughters commit whoring and your brides commit adultery. So he's talking about that these people didn't just take their little wooden things, but now they're taking incense and they're taking what they consider offerings. They sit there, and this is what you have in temples made of man, is you have all of these people making offerings to other Elohim, other incense, strange fire, all of this stuff. And when you commit this, when you start getting on your knees and you bow down to this, you have become a harlot. Now, when you are on your knees in front of a Christmas tree, you are playing a harlot, the same kind of a thing. You are getting on your knees on what they call Nimrod's phallus. His private parts is what a Christmas tree is made. And so those are other Elohim. Those are other gods. When you're looking at your life, do you celebrate Ishtar, the wife of Nimrod? Is that your goddess? When you are going and having an Easter egg hunt, and when you let your kids participate and dress up in Halloween, all of these things are pagan, anti-God, anti-Yah things. And we have to understand these are the things that got us into captivity. And to get us out of captivity, we have got to find our Creator and His ways. Okay, I would not punish your daughters, verse 14, when they commit whoring, nor your brides when they commit adultery, for they go aside with whores and offer with cult prostitutes. A people that do not understand are thrust down. Though you are a whore, Israel, let not Yahudah become guilty. Do not come up to Gilgal, nor go up to Bet Awen, nor swear an oath, saying, as Yahuwah lives. Right? And he just threw in a little warning for the sister or younger brother or whatever you want to call them, the other tribe of Yisrael. Do not become guilty, right? Yahudah, don't become guilty. Look at these people. These people are whoring out. Don't become like them. But they became like them, and they also went into captivity as well. 16. For Yisrael is stubborn, like a stubborn calf. Would Yahuwah now feed them like a lamb in a broad place? What is a stubborn calf like, boys?
A stubborn calf is very hard to. You don't go into his pen. He doesn't eat his food when you want him to eat his food. He doesn't obey. He doesn't go where you want him to go. He's always running away.
Yeah, and they're fast and they're hard to get a hold of. You have to manhandle them sometimes. Okay, continue on. 17. Ephraim. Now, who's Ephraim?
Ephraim is one of the sons of Joseph.
And who are we talking about in here where it says Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone?
The tribe.
He's talking about the northern kingdom, right? Another name for the northern kingdom. So we have Ephraim is joined to idols, let him alone. Their drink is sour. They have whored continually. Her rulers wildly loved shame. A wind has bound her up in its wings, and they are shamed because of their slaughterings. All right, gentlemen, this is our first week back. And I think we did I don't know if we did Hosea justice, but hopefully for those of you guys who are out there, you guys are starting to understand your identity, that you guys are starting to see that there is no other identity that we want other than being a Hebrew person, being an Ibri. You don't want to hook your star to other people's wagons. You don't want to get into these tiny little groups. I see an urge and a need that these people, everybody out there wants to join into a group. They want to find people that are looking at the same stuff. And everything I've seen from all of these Torah-based, so-called Torah groups is nothing but plain evil. I've seen nothing good, no good fruits come out of any of these things. And if you're looking for a group, look, start with yourself. Start with isolation and start with your scriptures and start with reading your scriptures, because the groups have no other info other than what they have found in scriptures. They're bringing along baggage and they're bringing along all this other trash. And you can sit in your room, you can read the scriptures, you can become more astute and more fluent in scriptures than all these people in all these groups. You can get closer to our Creator simply by diving in yourself and becoming your own leader, becoming your own reader, becoming your own Teacher, it's all right there, right? You don't have to come up with your lesson plans. The lesson plans are already in scriptures. Read them, enjoy them, bring them on your life. Take these Torah, put this and use this in your life, guys. The Torah is the greatest thing ever. Our Messiah is the way to the kingdom, and the kingdom is coming. And this is the time when we figure out what our identity is and where we want to go in the future, because the future is not going to be long before Messiah comes. I'm thinking it's going to be probably in our lifetime. I don't know for a fact, but we need to keep watch. We need to be one of the smart virgins, one of the people that have oil in our lamps that are ready. Our lamps are tuned. We're ready to rock and roll, and we're waiting, and we're not going to be waiting if you don't have your scriptures in hand. If you are not bound to our Creator, you're not going to be ready. So with that, guys, we hope that you guys have a wonderful preparation day. Today is a preparation day for anybody that's keeping Shabbat. Shabbat starts at sunset tonight, and it will end tomorrow at sunset, and we hope that you guys will keep it. We have a Shabbat reading on the Yahoo and the Torah main channel at 11 o'clock, whatever time that is to you guys. Keep tuned, and we hope to see you guys there. We love you all. We hope you have a wonderful week.
All right, shalom.
Shalom.